Good evening to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is an easy editorial. It's all about national sports and not too many words, a few words, and those words also very easy to understand, familiar words. Besides the editorial analysis, today you're going to work on practice questions based on exam topics. You're going to work on spot the errors, fillers, phrase replacement, and also scrambled sentences. Let us start the session with editorial vocabulary. The first one, it's a phrasal verb, reach out. Reach out is a phrasal verb. What does it mean? To try to get the attention and interest of someone. To reach someone to get attention or to try to get the attention and interest of someone. Reveal, we have got many a time, part of speech verb. Make previously unknown or secret information known to others. You can also think of words like disclose, make public. Enormous, part of speech adjective, very large in size, quantity, or extent. Enormous stone, enormous something. Adjective, it goes with a noun. Benchmark, noun, a standard, a point of reference against which things may be compared. Benchmark, set the benchmark. That's an important expression. A run up to. Good evening. Am I audible? Please respond. A run up to. Run up is a phrasal verb. It takes a preposition to. Period of time just before important event. There is an important event, and the time before that we use a run up to a particular event. Spectacular, part of speech adjective. Beautiful in a dramatic and eye catching way. Something is quite impressive. We say spectacular. Thank you very much. Showcase, part of speech verb, exhibit or display. You exhibit something, you display something, something important. Only then we use the word showcase something. Blend, an easy word, mix a substance with another substance so that they combine together. Part of speech verb. Augmented reality, noun, a technology that superimposes a computer generated image on a user's view of the real world, thus providing a composite view. It's a technical term. Extravaganza, an important word, part of speech noun, elaborate and spectacular entertainment. Someone throws a party or a particular event, we use a word extravaganza, an important word. White elephant, it is an idiom. It means a position that is useless or troublesome, especially one that is expensive to maintain or difficult to dispose of. You have something very expensive, it is of no use, at the same time, very difficult to maintain. Then we use the expression, something has become a white elephant. Rechristen. Rechristen means part of speech verb, give a new name to something. A few words, simple words. Now let us go to the editorial. How does it start? Playtime. Playtime in this context, time to play, playtime. And what is the main idea of the editorial? Gujarat did well to organize the national games in a short time. It talks about, it starts on a positive note. Gujarat did well to organize the national games in a short time. It talks about national games organized by the state of Gujarat, did well, and that too in a short time. Easy to comprehend. In an initiative to use the power of sports to reach out to people of a pole bound state, the Gujarat government volunteered to host the 36 national games across 6 cities: Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar, Vadodara, Surat, Bhavnagar, and Rajkot in a short time. So, this talks about the initiative taken by the state of Gujarat and to use the power of sports. What is the objective behind? To use the power of sports to reach out to people. Reach out. That's an important phrasal verb. To try to get the attention and interest of someone. In this context, the people of the state, of a poll bound state, elections are due. The Gujarat government volunteered to host the 36 national games across 6 cities, all these cities, in a short time. The fact that other states took years to prepare and the Goa edition was cancelled after several postponements revealed the enormous challenge that Gujarat had to deal with in organizing this large scale event. National games, obviously, large scale, that is one thing. And not only that, here in the past, a particular state, Goa edition was cancelled after several postponements. That is one thing. And it revealed something like the event is enormous and conducting that event or organizing that event, enormous challenge. There are two words over here. One is reveal. Reveal means what? Disclose, make something public. Enormous means huge in size. The fact that other states took years, other states tried in the past, they took years together. The fact, based on that fact, other states took years to prepare and the Goa edition was cancelled after several postponements revealed. So the many states took a lot of time, that is one thing. And Goa edition was cancelled. Based on these factors, and these factors revealed or disclosed the enormous challenge that Gujarat state had to deal with in organizing this large scale event. Obviously, on a large scale, not easy to organize. Excuse me. And it talks about what happened in the past. Odisha had set a new benchmark by organizing the 2017 Asian Games, Asian Athletics Championships in 3 months' time. And Gujarat equaled the feat by staging a multi sport event in a similar time frame. Here it talks about, please excuse me, in the past, what happened? Odisha had set a new benchmark. There's one important word, benchmark. Benchmark means what? A standard, a point of reference against which things may be compared. A particular standard, you can say. And Odisha set that standard by organizing the 2017 Asian Athletics Championships in 3 months' time. And Gujarat equaled the feat, the same thing, by staging a multi sport event in a similar time frame. Here also, 3 months' time, Gujarat could do that. With the same party, what could be the factors behind? With the same party, the Bharatiya Janata Party ruling in the state and the center, the cooperation was smooth in the run up to the event, which was last held in Kerala 7 years ago. So this talks about the event was successful. Gujarat did well. One of the reasons with the same party, center and at the state level, the Bharatiya Janata Party ruling in the state at the same time and the center, the cooperation between the center and the state was smooth in the run up to the event. There is one important expression, a run up to. It takes a preposition to. Period of time just before important event. Run up to the event which was last held in Kerala 7 years ago. The Narendra Modi Stadium, the biggest cricket venue seating over a lakh, staged the game's spectacular opening ceremony at Ahmedabad. This talks about the first day, how it was inaugurated, and where it was. The Narendra Modi Stadium, the biggest cricket venue seating over a lakh, staged the game's spectacular opening ceremony at Ahmedabad. There's one word here, spectacular. Means what? Eye catching, something eye catching, very impressive. A show of light and sound, it showcased Gujarat's rich cultural heritage and blended with it the country's technological advancement. Opening ceremony, a show of light and sound, one thing. It showcased, showcase means display or show something important. Gujarat's rich cultural heritage and blended with it the country's technological advancement. They used two things. One, they showed the projected the rich cultural heritage of the state, one thing, and also blended with it the country's technological advancement. And how can we say that? It was reflected in the use of eye catching augmented reality technology by Doordarshan during the live coverage of the inaugural extravaganza. There are two expressions over here. One is augmented reality. Augmented reality is a technical term. It is based on technology, a technology that superimposes a computer generated image on a user's view of the real world, thus providing a composite view. Another word, extravaganza. elaborate and spectacular entertainment. So this was reflected. They try to showcase the rich cultural heritage. At the same time, they use their technology, augmented reality technology. Further games involving 8,000 plus athletes from 36 teams in 35 sporting categories, Gujarat used its existing infrastructure instead of building new venues that often turn out to be white elephants. A bit lengthy, but what does it try to convey? For the games, this particular state, Gujarat state, did not construct new stadiums. Instead of that, and this particular event involved 8,000 plus athletes from 36 teams in 35 sporting categories. Gujarat used its existing infrastructure, not new ones, instead of building new venues that often turn out to be white elephants. One of the reasons why Gujarat state did not go in for new infrastructure or did not construct new buildings or new venues, usually these new stadiums or venues, they turn out to be white elephants. There is one important idiom over here. White elephant, a possession that is useless or troublesome, especially one that is expensive to maintain or difficult to dispose of. You have something very expensive, no use, at the same time difficult to maintain. Then we use the idiom white elephant. So what did it do? Instead of going in for new infrastructure, it converted some international standard expo centers into indoor sports facilities, one thing, saving money. Instead of building a games village, it used hotels to provide accommodation to the athletes and ensured business to the state's hotel industry. Had they constructed a new games village, they they had to spend a lot of money. So they did not do that. Instead of building a games village, what they tried to do, they used hotels to provide accommodation to the athletes, and in that process, ensured business to the state's hotel industry. That's in a way a good thing. The games, which began as the Indian Olympic Games in Lahore in 1924, before being rechristened as the National Games after independence. So these games began way back in 1924 in Lahore, but initially the name Indian Olympic Games before being rechristened as the National Games after independence. Before independence, they were named Indian Olympic Games and began in 1924 in Lahore. But after independence, they got a new name. What is that? National Games after independence stays relevant in its 98th year by providing young athletes an opportunity to get a feel of a multidisciplinary games and compete with world-class athletes such as Mirabai Chanu, Shiva Thapa, Avinash Sable before they step onto the international platform. Usually these national games, what do? They provide the young athletes exposure and opportunity to get a feel of a multidisciplinary games. They get exposed to different games happening at the same time, one thing, and also they get a chance to compete with world class athletes. So that way they're relevant in it. In the 98th year also, they make sense, they are relevant. For Gujarat, organizing the games was in sync with the state's ambition to host the Olympics in future. It seems Gujarat state has ambition to host Olympics in future. So organizing the games was in sync, in line with the state's ambition to host the Olympics in future. The efforts to set up the Swarnim Gujarat Sports University in Vadodara, encouraging the use of technology in sports and promoting skill development through sports are steps in this direction. In this direction means to organize Olympics in future. Inaugurating the 2022 Gujarat edition, Prime Minister Narendra Modi declared his government's intention to use a soft power of sports for the country's overall development, while for the athletes, the National Games offers a stepping stone to greater progress. Editorial ends on that note. While inaugurating the 2022 Gujarat edition, Prime Minister Narendra Modi declared his government's intention. What is that intention? To use a soft power of sports for the country's overall development. While for the athletes, that is one thing. Athletes, what is the benefit from the athlete's point of view? The National Games offers a stepping stone to greater progress. From this stage, they can go to the international platform. So this is all about the editorial, an easy one, only a few words, and all these words are easy words, familiar words. Now let us look at the questions based on or to improve reading comprehension skill based on this editorial. What is this editorial about? What is objective behind organizing the national games in a short time? Gujarat state organized national games in a very short time, 3 months time. What is objective behind? Keywords. What revealed the enormous challenge that Gujarat had to deal with in organizing this large scale event? Large scale event obviously poses a lot of challenges. And what were those challenges? You have to answer. Based on the keywords, enormous challenge that the Gujarat state had to deal with in organizing this large scale event. Why was the cooperation smooth in the run up to the event? Before the event, the cooperation between the center and the state, it was smooth. So why was it smooth? In the context of the editorial, building new venues often turn out to be what? Easy to answer. There is one idiom that you have to mention. That's all about this editorial. Now let us go to practice questions based on exam topics. You have to work on error location, fillers, and phrase replacement, not para jumble, and also scrambled sentences. Read the first one and try to spot the error. In the meantime, I'll go through the some students have written something. Let me go through. 30 questions with 100% accuracy. Oh, thank you very much. Glad to know that. Computer questions very tough. Oh, 39 questions out of 40. Good. Any passage you have to read before the exam, topics related to SLEEP's acronym, science and technology, especially economy, science and technology, socio-cultural problems, topics in the limelight, and that habit, at least for a week, try to read tough passages or passages from previous year's papers. That will help in the exam. You get conditioned, you will be able to answer. Now let us go to question number one, error location. Plastic bags less than 50 microns thick are banned, but neither the states nor the city corporations. Here, states plural, corporations plural, sentence is in present tense affirmative, and the subject is plural. There are two nouns, both in the plural form. Then we don't have to add the letter S or ES to the verb. Plastic bags less than 50 microns thick are banned, but neither the states nor the city corporations care to enforce this rule. Not cared, care. They don't care because it is in present tense. Which tense is it in? Present tense. Here they wanted to check to what extent you know the rule. If the subject is third person singular, sentence is in affirmative form, present tense, only then we should add S or ES to the verb. But here it is not third person singular, but the sentence is in affirmative form, it is in present tense. So what is the answer? Care. You cannot use a past form. Question number two. Please read sentence number two. Needless to say, no sooner, the moment you come across words like hardly, scarcely, barely, no sooner, two things you have to keep in mind. One, you have to look at the combination, a right combination used or not. And the second dimension, the clause should be in interrogative form. Were all these large and rather expensive operations finished? There is no error here. It is in interrogative form, but no sooner does not take the word when. No sooner takes the word no sooner, takes the word than. And if you take words like hardly, scarcely, barely, these take when. These take the word when. No sooner than. When is not correct, we have to use than. Go to question number three. Each of the employees whom the company has chosen to take part in the international seminar to be conducted in the city hall are up to the mark. Lengthy sentences, you don't have to worry. You have to read the sentence meticulously. At the outset, you have to know the subject, related phrases and clauses, and you have to look at the verb based on that. What is the subject here? Each. Each is a pronoun. Which type of pronoun is it? Distributive pronoun. Distributive pronouns are three in number: each, either, neither. And there's one rule that goes with distributive pronouns. What is that? They always take a singular verb. Based on that, each of the employees, this is a phrase, don't consider, whom the company has chosen to take part in the international seminar to be conducted in the city hall. This is a clause, don't consider, are up to the mark. Each singular, then we cannot use a plural verb. It has to be is. Each is up to the mark. Each employee is up to the mark. That is the error. And here you have to recollect the rule. Each, either, neither. These are distributive pronouns and they always take a singular verb. They take what? A singular verb. That's right. Question number 4. The young woman who is watching television in that room lived here for more than a year, but she has never created any problem for us. Who said it is used only for two people? Each other for two persons, not each. Who is this don't to? Each of the employees, each of the students, each of the participants, you can use with, you have to use with a plural noun. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to use only two. I think you're confused between each and each other. Each other is a reciprocal pronoun. Reciprocal pronouns are two in number. Each other, one another. If you ask what is the difference, each other goes with two persons or two things, and one another goes with more than two. But here it is only one word each. I hope it's clear, don't you? The young woman who is watching television in that room, this is one clause, lived here for more than a year, but she has never created any problem for us. Here it is in present continuous, here it is in present perfect. She has never created any problem. And here it talks about more than a year, then we cannot use past tense. We have to use either present perfect or present perfect continuous. Based on that, have lived or have been living here for more than a year. You can use either present perfect tense, no, not past continuous. We have to use present perfect continuous tense. Nothing wrong with is watching. No, you don't have to touch that clause. Lived here for more than a year, not correct. Lived here, the time phrase more than a year, but she has never created any problem. You can touch only one clause. Based on that, has lived or has been living. I'm sorry, here, young woman, it should be has lived or has been living. Then it is either present perfect or present perfect continuous. The priest, together with his followers, were fatally injured in the accident which occurred last night near the unmanned railway crossing. Here we have two subjects: the priest, subject one, his followers, subject two. And we have together with. We use expressions like with, together with, along with, as well as, like, unlike. All these, the verb agrees with the first subject. What is the first subject here? The priest. Then you cannot say were, you have to say was. That's right. Now you have scrambled sentences. The first one is given. Remaining parts you have to get the correct order. So try to read carefully. Crashes in the early days. What is the answer? The first one is given. Sentence begins with this part. Remaining parts you have to get the correct order. Crashes in the early days. Crashes of what? Crashes in the early days. Crashes of commercial jets tended to be caused by technical faults. That means what? You have to start with of commercial jets. B, A. How many options begin with B? Only one option. Let us go with that. Crashes in the early days of commercial jets tended to be caused by technical faults such as metal fatigue in the airframe of engines. Answer is C. That's right. Chinese officials say what? Are you talking about the first one or the second one? Please mention the question number. I request you guys mention the question number and the option. Now we are dealing with question number 7. Chinese officials say what? Economic growth has dropped continuity, present perfect tense. That means what? CA you have to get. CA dropped to a 3-year low because of the world economy. Answer is D. That's right. CABD. There have been a lot of drivers not obeying complaints recently about in downtown Boston the speed limits. Question number 8. There have been a lot of drivers not obeying what? No, there have been a lot of complaints recently about drivers not obeying. That means you have to get BA. Where do you have BA? BADC. Let us check. There have been a lot of complaints recently about drivers not obeying the speed limits in the downtown Boston. Answer is no, no, please mention the question number. I request all of you mention the question number. 8A is correct. And downtown means the busiest marketplace of a city. The Gita is a spiritual philosophy. Go to question number 9. The Gita, any holy book, we have to use a definite article the. The Gita is a spiritual philosophy addressed to all, and we know that there are all kinds of people, each kind differing quite significantly from the other. So, what is the answer? Sentence number or question number 9. Very good. Who is this? Shravani. No arrangement required. As such, it is right. Yashashvi also. Perfect. Let us go to question number 10. I think it's a shame that some foreign language teachers studied with a native speaker college without ever having studied. That is one connection. CB. That is a clue. Based on that, where do you have CB? Only one option. I think it's a shame that some foreign language teachers were able to graduate from college obviously without ever having studied with a native speaker. Answer is the fourth option. No, ADCB. That's right. Very good. Now you have questions based on fillers. 5 questions. They would like local authorities to be given greater as to how the money is spent. So what is the right word? They would like local authorities to be given greater affairs, function, omission, discretion, statement. Go to question number 11. 5 questions based on Fillers. 11D. Very good. Here, they would like local authorities to be given greater discretion. Greater affairs does not make any sense. Greater function, no. Greater powers would have been better. Omission not relevant. Statement not relevant. Discretion means ability to decide what is right, what is wrong. One of the meanings to be able to judge. I have recently used the services office to book a cruise in the Mediterranean. Cruise ships, they're used for pleasure trips. I have recently used the services office, progress agency, deportation agency, travel agency. That makes sense. Transport agency, mover agency. They're not relevant at all. So, what is the answer? Travel agency. That's what we do to book a cruise in the Mediterranean. Sentence number or question number 13. In the same amount of time it would take me to correct all the in your report, I could write a better report myself. Here the clue for you: correct. Correct what? All the mistakes. Seems right. Correct all the problems in your report. Problems in your report, not the right combination. Accuracies, why should you correct? Obstacles, not relevant, does not go with the report. Disputes, does not go with the report. So what is the answer? All the mistakes in your report. I could write a better report myself. A true of the resources involved in sport would include the unpaid labor services. A true growth, a true consideration, a true guidance, a true suggestion, a true estimation of the resources. When you think of resources, first you try to estimate. Based on the context, a true estimation of the resources involved in sport would include the unpaid labor services. Answer is E. Question number 15. In a 10 billion year old galaxy, there should have been ample for at least one species to escape its own mess and to spread across the stars, filling every niche. Niche means a particular segment. What is the answer? There should have been ample negligence. No. Surveillance, not relevant. Supply, not relevant. Advocacy, not relevant. Should have been ample opportunity. Answer is B, based on the context. Now, not fillers, these are phrase replacement. I should have corrected. Here you see the phrase may be right, may not be right. If it is right, no replacement required. If it is not correct, one of the options. A satisfactory number of contestant, no. Satisfactory number of contestants seems to be right. Satisfaction of number of contestants must register, no. This at the outset, this is not right. Satisfaction in the number of contestants, no. Satisfactory number of contestant, you cannot use a singular noun. Noun should be in the plural form. Based on that, answer is A. Satisfactory number of contestants must register. Perfect. Grammatically, contextually. When you read this, next second you have to know this is not right. In spite of, correct, but despite of, wrong combination, they have given many a time. Then it has to be one of the options. Despite being the mostly efficient, despite of, don't consider. Despite being the most efficient method ever. Efficient method, we have to use, we cannot use the adverb form. It should be adjective form, the most efficient method. Answer is D. Question number 18. The next class of wave or oscillation detector is a magnetic detector depending on the powers of electric oscillations to affect the magnetic state of iron. Depending in the powers, depend on the power in, depends upon the power in. Depending upon the power of. A bit confusing. What is the answer? 18B. Depending upon the power of electric oscillations. Depend on the power in. It does not make any sense. Depends upon the power in. Here, the next class of wave or oscillation detector is a magnetic detector. Depends upon the power in, but you cannot use because depending upon the power of, it's not deepening. Answer should be B. That's right. It is not A, it is not. Answer is B is the answer. Depending upon the power of. His tail was short and scraggly, and his harness had been broken in many places. Here, contextual awareness is very important. Was short, it is in past. Had been broken, this is in passive voice, past perfect. But why should we use past perfect? Why not past tense in passive voice? His tail was short and scraggly, and his harness was broken, have been broken. Was broke, not correct. Had been broken in many places, have been. No, I think answer should be no replacement required. We cannot say was broke from, has broke from, not grammatically correct because it talks about short and his harness. You cannot use plural verb, no plural verb, no replacement required. That is the answer. Very good. James had teaching at the university for more than a year before he left for Asia. This is an important question. James had teaching. At the outset, you should know had teaching, grammatically not correct. Here, you have a clue for more than a year before he left for Asia. So here, the context he left, this is past. Before that, something had been going on for some time. That means we have to use past perfect continuous, not present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous. Here, had teaching grammatically not correct. Was taught not correct. Had been taught not correct. Had been teaching. Because for more than a year time period, you have to use past perfect continuous. Has been not correct because it goes into the past. Here it talks about a given time in the past. Before that, something had been going on for some time. Based on that, we should use past perfect continuous. So, what is the correct sentence? James had been teaching at the university for more than a year before he left for Asia. This is the right sentence. That's all for today. Hope you guys have got enriched. And do remember to subscribe and share. Important questions, try to spend some time. Someone wanted tips for mains. Mains usually based on reading comprehension skill and vocabulary. Imagine you have 1 week or 10 days. What I suggest, usually I tell students, read a lot of passages from previous year's papers, tough passages, and see what went wrong and what areas to improve. That is one thing. And try to read the vocab words, whatever words you have learned, brush up, revise, and try to remember effective words. These two tips will definitely help. Thank you very much.